Okay, I am back. And my controller. Thank you for the 54 months, Sly Guys. Alright, where the hell was I? Wait, did I go in here? I can't remember.
Awa, amina nina. Ni somo ami bumbo tirulak. Alo? Ye. Aro mutasusu bakoron bibo turengo wabe. Ye. Umpa.
There's a big guy at the top of the cliff. Why do the devs give us the option to kill everything, man? I feel like there's no benefit to not killing them. Like, you probably just want to kill them all. Doesn't say this area is dangerous, so... Is that the guy? Oh wait, no, there's... Hey, Pepperidge. This area is kind of big. Hello? Do you have a weak spot? No.
Let's go. Path.
That guy is dark. Okay. Interesting. I probably should have just phantom stars.
Radiance.
Oh yeah, Phantom Stars would have fucking nuked them all. Cultist. Oh wait, no, this is gonna heal him. God damn it. Well, whatever. It'll kill the other ones.
Just try it.
It's locked. Not today.
Altaram level 14. Sapling's Foot. Ooh, what the hell is that? Lady of Sap. Huh. Oh, there's a door! Cool. I think this will probably just give us a cosmetic or something.
Great.
Oh, music. Alicia. Oh, we're here now. It's a typewriter. Alright. Well, alright, I don't know. There's a pathway here, but I'm not sure this is where we want to go or not. This might just lead to another portal. I don't know, we'll see.
Eyes don't lie.
Ready to strike. Radiance away. Time to bleed.
This cultist blood attack is like so good.
Your turn to shine.
Oh. Jesus.
Take your shot. Ready?
Bro. Think I'm gonna revive? I don't know. Maybe I should have killed. Oh wait, he can use a skill? Nice. I probably should have just rezzed another guy. Oh, we did. Yo, what's up, Ain? Glysum. I'm doing good. Don't you get less XP if you don't revive? Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing well. Started my stream a bit late today. I was playing Mistfall Hunter off stream. I don't know why I like that shit game so much.
I liked it.
What am I doing? I was playing with Trey and Lepa off stream a little bit today.
Matteo, 3-5. They were so brave. So, that's what it means to lay the trail. I survived and will continue on. But to all the heroes of my team, I dedicate our journal. All of them were bleeding out from our battle with the terrifying Nevron roaming this area. Yet in their final moments, they used their bodies to create a bridge for those who come after. Expedition 3-5 is over. But tomorrow comes.
Well, falling leaves isn't even part of the main story, but I need to get the 2 parts to make the weapon. These guys are kind of scary. It's probably fine. Are they like all different types of elements? Alright, I'm gonna give my energy tint to our boy. And then we're gonna phantom stars. Oh wow. Oh, we need to shoot them, I think. Oh god. Okay, these guys are concerningly tanky.
Minoko, get ready.
I'm waiting. Take your shot.
Oh well.
Just kill me. Yeah, we're not fighting these guys. Fucking chromatic ballet. Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. Like, the thing is, you're not... I'm sure I could fight these guys, but I just don't care. I don't want to get frustrated playing this game, and I'm... You know, if it happens, it happens, but I have the ability to just not fight those guys right now, so that's what I'm gonna do. You know? Hey, Nebbit, thank you for the 37 months.
Ready.
Okay.
My turn.
I should have just Phantom Stars, whatever. Quite powerful.
A bit of violence, yes.
Because these guys are gonna get... Caster Mass will do more damage. It's not bad. Oh, it does 3 hits.
Oh well. Not impressed.
It's locked in.
Oh my god.
Incoming. Let's carve a path.
Row. Wow, that did a lot of damage. Holy shit, wait, I'm hitting so hard. What the fuck?
No more tricks.
A bit of violence, yes.
Look out.
It likes you.
Nice.
Let's carve a path.
I think it's better just to auto attack since I have the double hit auto. I am slightly concerned though. A lot of people have said when you get to the late game in this that you just end up like you can become so OP that you just one-shot everything, which I don't know. I'm gonna have to like limit my power because I don't want to like fucking skip the entire end game by one-shotting everything. Sounds kind of lame. I'd like to actually fight them, but at the same time, it's kind of sucks having to like intentionally gimp yourself, I guess. Yeah, I think it's more like actual like end game because right now I mean I still have the damage cap, so
Let's carve a path.
that did fucking nothing. Oh, there we go.
Sweet taste of battle.
I hope like speedrunning the game that the main story would be like challenging though. Hopefully. Unless you try to build for it. Well yeah, but I mean I've been trying to like optimize my damage and stuff. I'm not going super try hard about it though. Yeah, I don't know, because, well, the thing is, in a speedrun, you are going to be quite underleveled, but it also depends if you're doing, like, expert or normal, or easy, I guess. I think there's 3 difficulties, right? I don't know, Dynet. Maybe. Part of her is around here. Looks like that's a shortcut door from the opposite side. Oh, we can definitely just, like, jump up here. No fucking way we can't. We can definitely just jump up here. Skipped Act 2 end boss of that. Alright, and you're trolling. You did that too? Yeah, a lot of people probably did that. It's pretty... It's pretty easy, honestly. Man, this area is confusing though, like... I don't know... Wait, this is the cliff. There's an expedition log.
Christoph, Expedition 49. We can hold the line for another few days, but we need to find a way out. Our water supply is running dangerously low. Focusing on strategy around healing was a smart move. But we can't take down an Everin like this with our weak firepower and our backs against the wall. We can keep the fighters healed for quite some time, but not without water. Even with water, we'd eventually run out of stamina. For our allies who come after, sadly our lives may have proven that defense is both absolutely necessary and wholly insufficient.
I wonder if the game is giving me a hint. Oh, not the hiccups. Get some defense. That also gives us crit, so why not? Oh, we're close. We can almost do Elemental Genesis. Or Typhoon. I don't know about Typhoon, though. It's kind of eh. Or Terraquake. It increases all break damage received, which is pretty cool. Endbringer. Oh. Oh. Egg? Jesus. That didn't go great.
I've got this.
We need to heal our boy. Wait, we can't heal him because we're inverted. Never mind. Scratch that.
Here's your card.
That's more like it.
Oh, we had a heal on this guy, but I guess we took it off. We probably should have kept that on. Oh well. We don't have enough for the Chalier combo. It's 7. Do these guys have... Are these guys still inverted? Yes. Let me try the cultist slashes. Oh, that's awkward. Hey, well, it's healing me.
Here we go.
Dude, we have like all dark damage. This is actually terrible.
Here's your card.
We have one move on her that doesn't do dark. We have so much dark in our build. We need to like respec for this fight, I think.
Disaster expedition. Watch out. GL incoming.
Dude, sometimes it's like fat. Oh man, that's
Now
fucked.
the fun begins.
Yikes. Nice. I think Phantom Stars should do a lot. Nice.
It's locked on me.
One is and one nods. Another dies.
Try me.
Nice. Woohoo! Oh, we can break him now. Oh shit, what's he doing?
A bit of violence, yes.
Ruler Bash, I guess we'll do. It's the only one that can break. Oh, well, also the Rocher Hammering can break. I guess we'll do that one because it uses less AP. I think we should just tint ourselves. Oh no. Bro.
Full deck.
Can I shoot them? Okay, it doesn't seem like it actually... Dude, the fucking gradient attack also does dark damage, you motherfucker! Like, I can't even do anything to him except, like, shoot him or use Focused Foretell. It's awful. Oh, no. Jesus.
I've lived through worse. Phantom stars. Now the fun begins.
Oh, that's fucked.
Oh, wow. It likes you.
These fucking masks, man.
Let's go faster. You're outmatched. Don't die
To revive, I guess.
Eyes up, person.
Incoming. GL incoming. Just try it.
Take your
This
shot.
is not go. I don't know. Okay.
Bring it on. I'll manage.
The timing on that is tough.
Let's carve a path.
I don't even know what I'm doing, dude. Damn it, man, you fucker!
Bring it on. Just try it. Not impressed.
I thought. Oh man. Oh right, we still have the reserve team. I guess we can send them in.
I'm ready.
On me.
So he's resistant to fire. We can burn him though. Oh man, that's not good damage. It's
Ready to evade.
so early.
Overflowing with energy.
Fucking reveal yourself, you bitch!
Ready to go. Okay.
Ah, man, the timing, that one is tough. Like,
Careful, my elf.
Ready to pass. Ready to pass.
Ready to evade. I'll do it. I'm ready.
Let's start.
this is so Jover, dude. Tree of Life. Oh, that's terrible.
Let us stain them.
Thought it would heal more than that.
Ice. Shatter.
On guard.
Burn him. No. This is, I don't know, this is fucked. I feel like I'm just delaying the inevitable. Burn! Thank you!
From
I wanna go Virtuo stance.
Careful with
Yeah,
my
the
elf.
burn does like nothing. Dude, I hit that! I hit that, you fuck!
not giving up.
I'm gonna die of burn. It sucks because I can't even I can't really do anything on this turn either. Oh wait, he actually, wait it. I guess it actually works.
Ready to evade. I'm ready. Ready to evade. I'm ready.
Well, it was a good run,
Hurts.
but I'm fucked.
Lightning dance.
Woo, holy shit, that did a lot of damage.
I'll do it.
What? What the fuck, dude? There's no like audio cue for that one. That one's fucking bullshit. Like you can, I don't know, I can't really tell. All right, we need to change up our spec. There's a wait, where's the flag? Wait, wasn't? Oh, it's up there. Can definitely do this fight, but yeah, we need to switch up our skills a little bit. I'm gonna put on... I'm gonna put on the heal skill. That's a good one for the team. And then we don't want any dark attacks, though. This one can break, so that's good. Low ice damage. I could also get this one to break. Play a second turn. I mean, I guess this is actually, this piercing one isn't bad because it does biz damage and it's 6 hits. That's 3 hits to everyone. Yeah, lightning did do a ton. I mean, maybe I should just swap out Sael for Loon. Yeah, I know it was triple stain, but it still did like 50,000 damage. I don't know, Sael is like mainly dark damage, so I just don't think she's going to be as useful for us at the moment. How different our builds are, yeah.
That's what I get. Not impressed. Your turn to dance. Incoming.
Damn, man. Well, hey, my Berserk Slash is gonna do a lot now.
Careful now.
A storm is coming.
Curious how the Crustal Crush does. It's okay. Alright, how much does this do? It's not bad.
Not
gets one parry and I get screwed because of it. God dang it. No, let's just keep Berserk slashing, I guess. Since we're low HP. It's chunking him. He's summoning the masks, or what is he doing? Oh, yeah. You can't even get a counter off that. It's kind of fucked, actually. Dude, this, I don't know if there... Maybe there's like a trick to this, like there's a specific one that... that actually reveals him? I don't know.
Time for mayhem.
See, no. Yeah, I don't know. Strange.
Got this. Bring it on. Get ready.
I'm ready.
Just try it. Not impressed. Your turn to dance. Oh, really?
Oh.
Careful now.
Brace yourselves.
No. God dang it.
Let's finish this. I'm filled with murderous rage. That's more like it.
What the fuck is with... I don't get that. That's so weird.
Foolish.
Watch out for them.
Bring it on. Watch out.
But I've not been able to get a counter on that move yet.
No margin for error.
That sucks. Alright, let's try the lightning dance. Let's see how it does. Yeah, you really need the...
Get ready.
You really need the stains for that to do good
Ready to
damage.
evade.
Let's carve a path.
Wait, why am I not... Alright, we're in caster, so we can use our heal. What?
Your turn to dance.
Why the fuck didn't it heal Loon? Oh, 'cause she has... Oh, never mind. I know why. Oh, great. That's great.
Let's go ahead. Just try it. Foolish move.
Oh, too early again.
Not impressed. Bring it on. Just try it.
Well. burn? No, no burn. Okay. Probably should have just used an item there. Oh my god, I actually did. Nice.
It's
Huge.
locked on you. Time to strike.
I can't gradient attack. I can't. I mean, there's nothing else I can do. I can just
It's
spam.
locked on you. Experimenting.
Ready to pounce.
Take your shot.
Ready to pounce.
I swear, dude. Sometimes the timing on those like on those dark things they feel very like inconsistent. I guess we'll just do Pyrolyse. I don't know.
Witness the flames.
God, that does nothing. Oh my goodness.
Guard up.
Oh. Dude, why? She does like fucking. Why is my damage so bad? What the fuck? Dude, I'm hitting like a fucking wet noodle. What the hell is this shit? Do I have like a bad weapon on or something? I guess we weren't hitting the roulette. We failed every roulette. Oh no. That's grim.
Yeah, dodge.
Oh, come on. Yes, you fucker.
I'm not giving up. Nice.
No, never. Peaceful.
Let's dance.
My elbow.
Yeah, dodge. Okay. Take your shot. On me.
Nice. What the fuck's he doing?
Try me.
Oh no.
Ready to pounce. Okay.
Oh shit, I didn't hit that. What? Man. I don't know. I kind of want to like switch. Dude, this build, I don't know. The build's just not. It's not doing too hot. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. I mean, I don't know. It's doable. I just need to hit the parries, really. But I just wish I was doing. I wish I was doing a bit more damage. That's all.
Go forth, touch the demon inside me.
It's just when we have the reserve team, we do like no fucking damage at all. It's like really bad. I don't know if Loon's actually that good. I don't know, the damage is just not... You want like just physical, I think. I don't know if I want this weapon. Because he's weak to light. Yeah, wait, okay, so this weapon will be better if Mael ends up... Oh yeah, so her attack also... We don't have I guess we still need to just use that. I mean, maybe Mael would be better as long as I don't have... As long as I'm not using the fire weapon. I don't know, I think we just try the fight again. Probably. Shared care is actually a pretty fucking nice... I wonder how much that costs for Lumina. If I can even find it. Oh, here it is, it's 10. Yeah, that's a nice one. Yo, Exodus, thank you for the Prime sub. Thank you, man. Well... Do we have... Does it... I swear, like, every fucking one of her attacks... Like, she's just... I don't know, dude. Syel is just trash for this fight. Like, she... It's all dark damage. I guess I can put on Harvest. Alright. Oh. Yeah, I'm in local sub, so sorry I can't see you, Caleb. The backseaters have been pissing me off, so... I don't know, I was 2 hours into the game and somebody came in and told me that Gustav died,
Watch out!
Died, or whatever.
Another dance. Another dance. Your turn to shine. No. Your turn to shine.
God damn it.
You're outmatched. No time to lose.
I don't know if applying powerful is even worth it. Oh, it's 4.
Let's go faster. Let's carve a path. That's more like it.
I'll do it.
Oh, really?
I'll do it.
Loco, ready? Oh, yes, I dance.
Take cover.
Oh, finally. Like, hitting that counter on that move does so much damage. So I always fuck one up. It feels so bad. Alright, well, we can break with, wait, we have 7, right? Oh yeah, we can Crustal Crush. Yes.
Let's shake the earth.
Oh my god, the damage. It's terrible. Wait, it didn't fucking break him? What? Huh? Oh, it does break damage. Oh, I guess I misread it. I'm dumb.
You're outmatched.
And I wish one of them. Nice.
Your turn to dance.
It's kind of a scam you don't get a counter on that.
Like it. You're outmatched.
I should have healed. I don't know why I'm even attacking. Well, I guess it gave me AP. Oh?
Nobody dies.
Heal him. Alright. So wait, we have heavy. So we could do Glice Earthquakes, or we could do Hammering.
Oh, really?
Ready to evade.
Watch out. Your turn. Incoming. Bring it on.
Careful, Verso.
Luna, careful. Let's carve a path.
She's okay? I can't heal her because I'm stupid. Nice. Dang it. God damn it.
Let us stay.
Well, we can lightning dance. It'll do a lot now, I guess.
Lightning dance.
Oh yeah. Jesus.
Taste of battle.
Wait, how much? It's 3.
Brace yourselves.
Oh, well.
No way, man. Whatever. It's
That's
fine.
more like it. Now the fun begins. Let's have some fun. Let's go faster.
Wait, what? It's not his turn, right? Wait,
Ready
what?
to strike.
Okay. It scared me.
Let's go again.
Get everybody back up. Oh, we can do another. We might kill him
Lightning
here.
dance.
Oh wait, we didn't. I thought that was 2 light.
Oh well.
I thought that was 2 light runes.
Your turn to shine. Bring it on.
Oh.
Why, yes, I'd love a dance. From the bitter dregs. Once more, bigger.
Oh my god.
It likes you.
Ready to evade.
Everybody's at full. Can I fucking attack, please?
Let's shake the earth.
Manage.
Becomes yellow when buffed. Oh, right. Fucking shoot him. Woohoo! Damn, the XP. Level 14 Scaverin. Oh, wow. Holy shit. 1,000 damage. Base attacks can consume 1 dark stain to deal 200% more damage. Wow, okay, this one seems really good. Damn, 1,000 power? That's crazy. All right, nice. Oh, I can get... I want to get Elemental Genesis, but I actually can't because I need to go... I don't know, maybe we should respec. Only does 4, it only consumes 4. All enemies, 8 hits, like that's crazy. I'm gonna respec. Because I feel like that's just too valuable. Yeah, that's true. You can only be cast with all those. That's still like crazy though. But that is true. But the thing is, Elemental Trick... Oh, okay. So, if you get 100% crit rate on her, then Elemental Trick gives you a guaranteed Elemental Genesis. Whatever, I'm gonna try the Stormcaller as well. Oh, we'll put on Stormcaller. Elemental Trick. Genesis. Thing is, we don't have any way to generate... don't have any way to generate Earth. So I guess we can have that on... I mean, we have... I don't know. I guess that kind of works. I'm not really sure. God, the Tree of Life seemed kind of bad. I'm not... Like, it's a 2 gradient and it only healed half my health, bro. Like, what? It's essentially free. What's free? Are you talking about the Tree of Life? I don't see how that's free at all, to be honest. Gradient skill doesn't spend your turn. Yeah, but you could also, you know, do 2 gradient attacks with Sael that do like 200,000 damage.
Brace yourself.
Bring it on.
Why the fuck is my frame doing like... Oh, that's not good.
It likes you. I love a dance.
Did okay damage. You know, I was wondering if he was inverted, and I was like pretty sure he was, but
No margin for error.
Oops.
I'm filled with murderous rage. What lovely defeat.
I don't know, inverted is nice, but it is quite dangerous when you don't know, like, the enemy's movesets and stuff.
Good stuff.
Is this where I... Oh my god, this level is confusing me so much. Like, I don't know where I'm fucking going. Inverted makes you take, like, double damage or 50% more damage, but you deal 50% more. Wait, this is where Oh, am I going... Did I go in, like, a circle, I think? Okay, we're gonna switch back to this weapon. I think this is where I came in. I need to double check. Yeah, okay, it is. Okay. Well, we might have completed this area then. There might have been something. Well, there's the chromatic ballerinas, or whatever the fuck it was called. Thank you for the raids, Dennis. Also, Kairuma, thank you for the 29 months, man.
You're outmatched. Radiance away.
A storm is coming.
How much damage does this move do? Oh, that's awkward. Dude, Jesus, you do so much damage.
Brace yourselves.
A bit of violence, yes.
Chroma is flowing.
Okay, right, because there was the sap guy down here. Lady of Sap, is this the person the boy mentioned? Hey. We met a boy, he asked us to talk to you. He asked why your paintings take us all. Do it for him, I do it for us. To respect what he created, what we created. What does that mean? It's gone silent again, we should report back to the boy. Okay. I guess just talking to the Lady of Sap is what gives you access. Alright, well I think we like finished this area then. Just wanted to make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh boy. Do we go over here? Oh, no. Ooh, okay. Holy shit. Plus 2 AP on applying a status effect once per turn. Now that's expensive, but I have money, so why not?
Oh, really?
Oops.
proper challenge.
Oh, that's awkward. Oopsies. That didn't work. Hold on. Let me, let me swap this for... Man, I don't know. Minoko's auto attack is fucking terrible.
Sweet taste of battle. Why, yes, I'd love a dance.
This is an easy fight. It's a stick. That's true. Oh wow, level 14 dire ton. What's that for? Oh, okay, that's for sale. Damn, well, I don't have enough. Surely I'm gonna remember to come back later and get that. Well, I mean, I guess I have to go for the ballerinas, so... Oh, there's also chroma right here. We might be able to afford it after this. Nice. Did the boy give a reward? He opened the door.
Great.
Nah, we don't have enough. Looks like that's it. It's a lot of defense and speed. My god, look at the menu though. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I mean, I guess he might... I guess that makes sense that he would give you something. Oh. Cool. Alright. We are done this zone. Let's get the hell out of here. Hey, Nowhere Man, thank you for the sub. Thank you, thank you. I wish the game would like explain to you how defense works though, because it really doesn't give you any indication as to like how much damage is actually being reduced.
Let us get wet.
More defense is less damage. Wow, brilliant. Couldn't have figured that one out on my own. We're shredding.
Nice.
Gustav's haircut for Verso. Too soon. I gotta get all the outfits. Yo, Caleb. Thank you for the 44 months, man. Are you gonna run this game? You're missing the swimsuits? Still can't believe they put only up in this game. Easily game of the year. I actually really like that there's... I like the parkour stages, they're pretty fun, honestly.
Radiance awaits. Time to bleed.
Expert no-hit speedruns? Yeah, if I was to run this game, I would definitely do it on expert, though. I feel like the fights are just gonna be over so fast, otherwise. I mean, it'd basically be like a boss rush as well. Or, I mean, that my hope would be that it would be like a boss rush. But at the same time, it might... Oh, yeah, Caleb, that was like the first thing I noticed. Yeah, I noticed that in like the intro to the game. After like 1 minute, I was like, shit, this is only up. Yeah, it's really funny. I mean, the thing is, like, there's nothing wrong with the animations, and yeah, it's not like Only Up made them and then this game stole them. It's like a stock marketplace asset. It's just so funny that it's just funny that they use the same, like, this game, you know, people are like, game of the year, this game is so good, and not that having these animations makes it bad, it's just ironic, like, this game is so good, but it's just using default Unreal animations, or like stock marketplace animations. They knew it, otherwise they wouldn't have added the Only Up levels. Yeah, it's... yeah. This is back where we were, right? Yeah. SKA swimming legs. Yeah, it I was also wondering about that.
Sweet taste of battle.
And I thought I broke all the shields. I guess not.
Storm is coming.
What about Stormcaller? How is this?
Just try
Oh.
it.
Oh, that's awkward. Stun me.
Matched.
Yeah, Caleb, it seems pretty OP just comboing those two if your crit is high enough. Yeah, Stormcaller seems good too. Is that a double mime? Row. That works, I guess. So does this shit just last? Does it just last like the entire... It doesn't say how many turns it lasts for. We need to break them though. Oh no. Oh my god.
Your turn to shine. My, what lovely feet.
Let the ink flow.
What lovely feet, he says. Oh, that was too early.
Let's carve a path.
We're doing fucking nothing to these guys.
Radiance awaits. Bring it on.
Oh, that was a lot of break. Holy shit,
Careful,
okay.
Verso.
And I failed one.
Oops, come back.
Oh, I don't even have a break on her. It's awkward.
Elements converge.
Oh, really?
Okay, nice. He could be broken. That's good.
Really? Let's have some fun.
Phantom Stars can break. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just do that.
Some stars.
That did not do much damage. Oh yeah, what about our high earth damage to all enemies? I don't know what the best gradients are to do. I don't really have much. Not using this skill called Perfect Break.
We're overdue for some mayhem.
I guess the hammering, no. I want to break them both. And yeah, that does like no break damage at all. You kind of just like have to hit the counters to do a lot of break. It feels like. There we go. There we go. Nice.
Let us stay then.
And we're on caster. Oh, whatever, dude. Just break him. Oh yeah, my favorite character? Yeah, I'm not sure. Sabotage. Let's see, how much...
Let's carve
It
apart.
marks them, I guess. That's nice.
Your end is free.
That one did better. Oh. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this build that I've got going right now. Yeah, well, I don't have the frickin'
I'll do it.
honestly, maybe just... No, the free aim is fucking trash too. I don't know. We need, if we want to hit the Genesis without the crit, we need more light runes, I think.
Got this.
Ah oui, là. Ah, l'autre, pour la fausse. Et ce qui de...
Alright. One more little kid saved. Yeah, my weapon can generate dark stains, which are not useful for Genesis.
Ready to strike.
So that's kind of awkward, I guess, with what I'm trying to do. Oh yeah, there's a...
Sweet taste of battle.
I should have shot the other guy. Whatever. She should be able to kill him, I think. Oh yeah. Go back to the merchant to buy the weapon. Well, I'm gonna have to go back to fight the chromatics later on, so I'll get around to it eventually. What the hell is that? Those balloons. Oh shit. Alright, well, I don't think we go in here, but another danger portal. Crows.
Time for swim swim.
Time for swim swim.
Useful.
This guy looks kind of scary. He's probably not as scary as he looks, though.
Your turn to shine.
Oh, no, I think it's pretty scary. Well, I'm not gonna fight you right now. That guy is too strong for me.
No, no, no. Fastest swimmer.
I mean, the thing is, Elemental Genesis isn't even useful when I'm fighting groups of enemies like this. It's really only gonna... Or, well, actually, that's not true, but most of the time these groups of enemies are dead before it even matters. Like, before I would even have the elements. Yes, I know that I can talk to the Gestrels at the camp. Okay, I'll do it when I fucking go there, alright, man. Quick fights don't matter anyways? Yes, that's my point. That is literally the point that I'm making.
Swimsuit on. It's the swimmer.
Collium. That looks cool.
Let's go the path. Sweet taste of battle.
This earthquake move is really fucking good. I feel like it does really good damage. Pretty fucking good. Oh, I can break this.
I'm the fastest.
An advantage.
Wait, increased break damage on critical hits. Oh wow. Wait, how much loot? Oh, well, I guess we don't have it unlocked yet. That seems quite good. Oh, increased crit chance on... Oh, okay. Huh. Interesting. That critical vulnerability seems quite good. Critical break is also... Yeah, that's pretty strong. Kill the bouncing rock guy? I don't know. Alright, we can listen to our new song. We have 2 new songs, even? Wait, what the...
All
these years?
They're kind of...
And you...
I didn't think...
Lune and I...
Lune. Okay. Ready for the act?
Okay, yeah. We don't have any more dialogue until we progress the main story, I think. 3 colors of Lumina. Wow. Thanks. We can get a decent bit more Lumina, though. Oh, that's awkward. Thought I had more than that. It's not. Oh wow, 9 points? Get a little bit more defense. Sure. I have no idea what that means, Seedmole. But my guess is that's a bad character. Yo, Morganic, thank you for the 10 months. The Sister Fister? Can't get there yet? You don't know that? Ah, whatever. I thought maybe there was a spot you could dismount. Wait, what the? Oh shit.
This looks similar to Lumiere's shield dome. Maybe we can just cross it.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I was just about to ask how are we actually like, how is he carrying us? But I guess we're just standing on his back.
I'm telling you, we can't. Axon's first. It's okay, you'll be fine. You want to try again?
I'm okay.
Okay.
He's massive.
Avril, 40th Expedition.
Gigi and Edmund were leading. They were on a clean glide to the monolith when they flew into some sort of barrier and just gommaged away. Our gliders are useless without a way past the barrier. Bernard's going to explore on foot, see if there's an entrance. In the meantime, we might as well make ourselves at home. I guess I'll try my hand at fishing.
Fishing?
Who knows? See, Nevron's left any fish for us to eat.
Oh, the pure outfit for Verso. Everybody's pured up. Well, except for Minoko.
Swimsuit on.
It's a big portal over there. Is this where I need to go for the main story? Oh no. Oh, wait, it's back on that island? Wait a second, what? Wait, is that where the... Oh no, it's next to it. Okay.
Time for a swim.
An SKA plushie. Alright. Well, this is where we need to go for one of the main story things. What's interesting though is we could, like, it looks like we could just go to the portal to the 33, or to the Paintress. I don't know.
So this is Visage Island.
He who guards truth with lies.
Are those faces?
An infinite sea of them.
Perfect.
Is the island singing?
This melody.
A lot of faces.
This is creeping me out.
I'm in the mouth. Is that a giant traitor?
What's it doing?
It's not attacking.
Was that an invitation?
So it seems.
Feels like a trap.
I don't mind a straightforward path for once. Better than battling through a mountain of Nevrons.
No, Verso's right. Something feels off.
you're harmless, then these weapons will stay harmless too.
Touché. Well, Visage invites you to join him in his chamber at the end of this path. I assume that's why you're here.
Where do the other paths lead?
You're free to traverse them. Masks are not just to obscure, they may also illuminate. Look for the masks that you need.
Meaning?
The invitation stands.
This guy's pretty cool.
Well, head straight to the axon. Or take the other paths?
Let's take the other paths. And go talk to the giant merchant. If only a Notria was as cool as that guy. Yeah. I don't know, man. I wish a Notria was... You know, they tried, but... I don't know. It's just... They're... Oh, man. Ooh, that's expensive. Healing 15% of all heals affecting other characters. I'm gonna buy this. Like, the frickin' Anotria devs paid a bunch of money to sponsor like tons of streamers when the game came out, but they couldn't even like pay to get like voice actors for the game. Which in my opinion is kind of crazy. Oh, wait a sec. What did I have on? The hell did I just take off? Oh yeah, the burning... Critical burn, right. Yeah, I'm gonna fight him. We have everything equipped then? Yeah, we do. At least you just fight the merchant, you don't kill them.
Ready to strike.
Oh.
I've lived through worse.
You know, it's funny because... Oh, that's so... Oh, I can't heal myself. Oh my god, that was so much later than I remember. They jump towards you and then attack. So that's what I thought was happening. Let's try it with Minoko.
A bit of violence, yes.
Oops. This move does so much.
What lucky feet.
Nice. Set on. Dude, I don't have enough chroma for all this shit, man. Also, we could upgrade our weapons a decent bit more since we have 13 of these chroma catalysts. How's the foot collection going? It's good. We've got a bunch of new moves for Monoko. Fight first and buy. I mean, I didn't have enough money either way. It had no... Doing it really didn't matter. Alright, well... Let's go over this way. Whoa. What the fuck? That was weird. I go into mouth? Oh. Oh, so it... Okay. Oh no. These guys aren't chromatic, are they? Hope not. I don't think so. No, they're not that strong.
Radiance awaits.
This earthquake will probably kill him. Dude, this earthquake is so good. It does... I mean, I'm... Like, we're still damage capped and everything, but... It just hits so hard. Even when I'm not in the right, like, stance.
They seem so joyful. I'm almost jealous.
On the surface, at least.
He who guards truth with lies.
Whoa, what the f... Eyeball? Oh, he can already be stunned? Well, I can't break, so that's great. You know what? Let's just give AP to our boy. Jesus. Crazy, bro. We got the contortionette's foot. More feet. What the? Good old earthquake.
69.
69!
Fleur. Good thing Anthony upgraded all the climbing handholds. Not only are they much easier to install in the cliff faces, they're also a lot nicer to use. We're setting the last few handholds tomorrow. Then we can finally get out of these caverns and see the sun again. I can't wait to rejoin the mountaineering team. I still remember that first mountain we scaled. Watching the sun rise above the clouds was magical. But rappelling down as we set the handholds was pure exhilaration. I know some of the others chafe at being restricted to recon only. I get it's not very satisfying making maps and prepping trails while people are dying. But this prep work will pay off in the long run. It may not be glamorous, but truly essential work rarely is. Doesn't make it any less important. And as the Expedition 69 motto says,
I was trying to scroll down, it wouldn't let me. Oh shit. Wait, it doesn't actually break the shields, I guess?
Elements converge.
Let's carve a path.
Well, we're missing one element, Earth, I think. We just need to get a break on this guy, though.
Radiance awaits.
Need him to actually attack. I don't know why we're getting 2 turns here. Oh, we're close to breaking. Oh, it consumed one, though. Oh, shit. What the f... Well, that did a lot of damage.
Almost lost you.
So, if I do Ice Lance... Oh, but then it gave... Alright, yeah, this is fucked. Fuck, I can't... Oh wait, no, I can break with Radiance. There we go. Right.
Time to bleed.
Alright, Earthquake time.
This ends now.
Wow. Such damage. Oh, baguette. Baguette clothes for Verso.
Let's carve a path. Radiance awaits. Violence.
Oh my gosh. Alright. Easy. That's a big mouth over there. Probably should have just skipped my turn. Yeah.
Great.
Earthquake is all I need for now. Hulk smash.
Wow, wow, wow.
30% increased damage but can't be healed. Oh, okay. Oh wow, yeah, I have first offensive plus. That's why I was taking so much fucking damage. Wow, 20% crit rate. That definitely seems like a good one to put on Loon, potentially. If I want to, like, stack crit. Or, I mean, I don't know. There's definitely ways to get 100% crit rate other than fighting solo. What the? Oh, this guy had shields. Whoops. Oopsies.
Let us stain them.
Blasted. What is that? Oh shit. It's another one of the eyeball guys. This man is tweaking. Really need to get a way to break on her. Oh, his face tangling. Confuso. And there's so many weapons in this game. And the weapons can definitely change up the way you like approach the build quite a bit. The mask, it seems connected to the axon it speaks. He who painted this world seeking what he could not grasp, longing to share with those he loves. Behind his smile, what could it be? Sadness. Joy. Oh my god. Fuck. Increases the character's damage every turn. It can be accumulated up to 12 times with each sack, increasing damage by 5%. Oh my god. Jesus. What the fuck? Does this guy have shields? Oh, he does. I still want to use... I'm gonna use the earthquakes. Fuck it.
My turn.
Oh, nice. We got more AP.
Let's go faster.
Now's our chance.
Man, we're doing a lot with these. Oh, damn, alright. That was weird. Honestly, I've been leveling just like completely random, I don't know.
Did you hear that?
That was the axon.
Destroying these masks seems to hurt him.
Ah. You have 21,000 though? I guess we could buy the weapon.
Then let's keep doing that. Oh. Wait, what?
does this move just... It's like... It's so hard. Crazy.
Elements, converge!
Minoko.
Should have used my free aims on. Oh. He's tweaking, yeah, a little bit. Oh, I need to get some dinner soon. I think Larxa said she wanted birria, according to somebody in my chat. Beer? No. Birria. I mean, if we just do... Wait, so... Yeah, if we do wildfire and ice lance, then we can also do it, because it's a fire and a light, and then... But it needs to be wildfire first, because otherwise... it would consume the ice. Although, well, no, that also doesn't work, because it consumes... The ice lance consumes the light from the light rune from this. It's kind of awkward how that works. Makes it kind of tricky, I guess. Clearly the solution is just getting higher crit chance. Because I think there's one that gives you 25% crit chance if a target is burning, so that would probably be a good way. Like, if you have a bunch of crit stuff on, plus you apply burning with the character, I suppose. Oh, damage increased by speed difference with the target. Interesting. Damage increased for each free aim shot this turn up to 10 times. Oh. Free aim shot. I don't want to try that. I do use free aim a lot. I don't know, we can... I feel like Perfect Break is kind of pointless, because it's only one hit, and we can break with Radiant Slash instead. Blitz is also kind of... whatever, to be honest. Dispels self-status effects, this is 2 hits. Yeah, also kind of whatever. I'll do that. We also have a ton of new skills. High physical damage to all enemies, 3 hits. You know what, we could put that on here instead of... Yeah, that seems good. I really like the earthquakes. The Galt Fury is also nice. I feel like I want to prioritize Oh, this can break. But we can also break with the hammering. Yeah, I really like Minoko. He has so many moves. Oh, okay. So I could apply burn with Minoko. Verso doesn't have any burn, I don't think. I mean, maybe in this... I don't think he has any burn. Now, he might have a fire weapon, but I'm not sure if that can apply burn or not. No, he doesn't have a fire weapon either.
I know they're Nevrons, but witnessing the sorrow of others, I can't help but feel for them.
A noble but tremendously fatal impulse. A bit of violence, yes.
Oh, you actually can... Bring it on. Oh, that was weird.
Ow, wow.
What? What the hell did you just say, Minoko?
Your turn to dance.
Oh, they do it on death. I see.
Yeah. What lucky feat.
I don't have enough AP? Oh, because I'm exhausted. Right. Still don't have any good...
Your turn to dance.
No damage. Oh no, we are pretty strong. And I mean, we could be so much stronger if we actually like tried min-maxing more, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm satisfied enough with how we have things going. The hell is that?
Your turn to dance.
Well, I tried.
Ready to evade.
Oh, he's chromatic. Oh yeah, we're fucked.
That's more like it.
Oh, actually, we can kill this guy. Oh, you have to counterattack.
We go now.
Did I die again?
Can't heal him. I guess we'll just light Salt Zero. Probably.
Here we go.
Now the fun begins.
Damn it.
Just try it.
Nice.
Take cover!
Huge. Oh wow. Okay, I'm doing fucking nothing with them. I'm just gonna res him.
Well, I'm embarrassed.
And then I guess we'll Phantom Stars, maybe?
Phantom stars.
An almighty, so... Oh, we could do the sapling absorption. Let's try that, because it also heals us. Oh, it didn't heal us. That's weird.
Thunder! Crash!
I only did the 4-hit combo. Mortal attack?
Coming.
Oh, come on. I hit that. No.
I'll do it.
No, fuck you.
Bring it on.
Alright, he's stunned. We got him.
Can't improvise.
There we go. Oh, 5 Lumina. Augmenting Counter 2. 50% increased counterattack damage. Okay. That's good. That's definitely good. Wait, can you have both of them on? Oh, right. Well, we have to learn it first. Oh, we have glass cannon? Wait, I didn't see that. Damn.
interesting.
Oh, that's why I didn't see it, because it hadn't popped up yet.
Good stuff.
This area is so blue.
My turn. Let's try it.
Oh. Really should stop killing that guy right away. Whatever.
A storm is coming. Useful.
What the hell was that?
Let's carve a path.
The anti-shoot.
Time to lead.
Just try it.
Great.
We can upgrade our weapons like a ton. I think we have like, nearly 20 of these catalysts. But honestly, we're not really struggling on damage that much right now. And I don't know what...
Expedition 39.
I don't know what weapons I want to upgrade.
Albert. Edith's not back. So until then, we stay on recon. All these masks are freaking me out. Fucking creepy. I swear I could hear one of them singing. The Nevrons around here behave so strangely. Almost like they don't really want to kill us. They still do, though. This place is making me crazy. Maybe if I wore one of these masks, they'd leave me alone.
All right. What the?
The fun begins.
Oh my god. Alright, good fight. Poor guy. Ucharo. Oh, do we got a fire weapon? Get some swimsuit action for a bit.
Yeah, it definitely hurts him. I think I saw one more path.
That's good. We're weakening him.
This feels...
Alright.
off.
I guess this is the other path, unless... yes, I think so. Oh, what the...
Good stuff.
Yeah, we're at the angry area now.
Everything's destroyed.
Normally, I enjoy a little destruction. But this doesn't feel right.
It's rage.
I probably should have healed.
Here we go.
A bit of violence, yes.
Foam is flowing. Elements converge. Careful, Verso.
Three hits. We're gonna be so strong at once we if we upgrade the weapons.
Well, that will help.
Getting so many of those upgrade materials now. How many do we have? 33. That's a lot.
Here we go.
Are you gonna dodge it all? Yep. we do so much damage with our free aim on Loon. What the fuck? I mean, I guess we have glass cannon, and we're also inverted at the start. I don't know. It's crazy.
Useful.
It's just like the tip of the iceberg as well.
A bit of violence, yes.
I don't know, it's still probably best just to do the earthquakes, I guess.
Let us stay there.
Great.
Dude, this weapon that we got, Scaverim or whatever, it does so much fucking damage.
Good stuff. Let's carve a path.
Kept shooting. Just find myself spamming the same thing over and over again, but it's like I don't really know what else to do. This combo is pretty strong, at least.
Bring it on.
For the time being. Oh, damn.
Violence, yes.
Healed himself. Oh.
Elements, converge!
Maximum damage. Phantom stars.
What lucky feet.
All right, so I got a Pictos here. On every damage dealt, try to consume 1 AP. Well, time to do the same thing. And depress my earth attack. Yeah, we're still in the first playthrough. I've been just taking my time with this game. I'm not in a rush. Oh, we got another door.
lovely.
Another Pictos? Double burn. When applying a burn stack, apply a second one. Well, I've been playing in local sub, so I haven't really been getting backseated that much now that I've done that. Thankfully. Wow, okay, he has like no health now. Whatever, it's fine. We're just trying to level it up anyways.
Nice.
Daniel, thank you for the 4 months.
Art can be a window, and art can be a mirror. And great art is both. Son, you'll never be a true artist if there's always a mask between you and the viewer, especially when the viewer is you.
Yeah, I like the mansion a lot. It's comfy. No enemies in the mansion. Oh, that actually respawned. Going to the... since I went to the mansion. Alright. Let's see. Is there anything we missed? Let's see, because we came from over there. And then we went... killed these guys, right? And that's how we dropped down. Anger. I should have shot that guy. Oh, whatever.
Let's carve a path.
Damn. Clairum. And those sounds.
I think that's all of them.
Really do not have much defense on her, do we? 12 points? What? The fuck? We could get some more crit. Sure. We have 10 for sale. It's 2 hits. Hell. Pretty cool. You know what, we should get rock slide so we can actually break with her.
We should be able to fight the axon properly now.
Let's answer this thing's invitation.
Oh, I'm kind of curious what it would have been like if I had not done that. I would like to go back to camp, honestly. I mean, I can go back to the continent, but I can't fast travel back here afterwards. Can't remember, was there a portal? Like, how far? Oh, there's SKA. Well, we already came this close. I guess we'll do it. We probably could have just went and done the fight. We do have a lot of stuff to do at the camp, though, or a lot of things to spend. I don't know if there's any new dialogue.
And you...
Oh.
Lune.
Alright. I'm just keeping everybody even. I don't care. Oh, Loon has 10 open. I guess I can have both counters. That's kind of crazy. It's only 5 for the second one. That's like ridiculous, dude. What the fuck? Oops. Crit chance on defenseless enemies is good. I don't know. I wonder if there's something that applies defenseless when you re-aim. Can't remember. There's crit chance on burning enemies, which I actually have equipped. Break damage on critical hits. So there's base attack applies defenseless. There's also the healing counter, and well, there's last stand critical, which is crazy, but okay, it doesn't seem like I have anything that applies defenseless apart from the base attack. Oops. I will definitely put the counter on everybody. I feel like that's a no-brainer. It's so good. Okay, so I mean, we could... I don't know, we're gonna be like so strong if we do... Let's see, I mean, which one of these do I want to use? Perfection is based on... Yeah, see, this one isn't... I don't think we want to do that, because it's hard for us to get perfection. Abyss Ram is increased base attack damage, which is... That's okay, I mean, I base attack a good amount. Maybe there's one that helps with free aims. Light damage can burn on critical hits. Oh. Huh. Apply 3 burn instead of mark. Wait, this one actually could be pretty good, because we get more crit chance on Loon if they're burning, so this would like... We also go first with Verso. So... Maybe we try that out. Rank S on break. Interesting. 100% crit on rank S. That's also quite good, but for enemies, it's kind of whatever. So burn damage by 50% per rank, up to 300% on rank S. That's a lot. The Dualiso was kind of cool too. No damage increase from rank. Oh, what the fuck? I don't know. I don't know which one, if you don't know which one I want to use. I kind of like the idea. I like the Confuso one for the time. I don't know. I kind of want to try this one. The power of it doesn't seem that great, but I guess our stats aren't as good for it. This is agility and luck. Start battle in agile mask. Yeah, Dualiso is nice, but its power is really low. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. Nerfed for the utility, yeah, that's kind of what I assumed as well. Alright. I don't want to spend all of them, because I don't know. I mean, surely we're gonna get a lot more. Maybe I'll be able to just, like, buy a shit ton of them late in the game or something as well, who knows? Alright, time to go accept the invitation. Up this way. My controller's vibrating. Whoa. Oh, are we going through all the... We're going through all the emotions.
Monoko, what does that mean? He who guards truth with lies.
Exactly what it sounds like.
Guard as in protect? Or guard as in control?
Yes.
All right.
I think you pissed him off.
A bit of violence, yes.
All right. I'm in heavy stance now. Oh. Oh my god.
Elements converge.
Dang, almost 4 crits. Okay, so yeah, I do apply. Yeah, this burns. Okay, yeah, I like this. This is good. No, let's apply powerful to the team. Oh, dang, I don't have enough. Actually, I probably should have. That's fine. Whatever. Another one. Well, that was scary. Everybody's inverted, so I can't fucking do shit. Yeah, this is...
Not impressed.
Oh.
Let's push forward.
I've lived through worse.
Oh, if only I could berserk slash, man. I guess Assault Zero is... That's good damage. And now we're gonna Earthquake. We might be able to finish here. Come on. Oh. Row.
People want so badly to know what's behind the mask. Front, back, recto, verso. Great art is both window and mirror. Whether it's your mask or theirs.
Harmless, huh?
He's the real Axon.
Child, we all need masks, but how you use them...
Am I just... I'm not inverted anymore, am I?
Feeling better.
No.
My, what lovely feet.
Wait, can he not be healed? The fuck? Oh shit.
It likes you.
Good.
That's fine. Oh, that's not good.
Last-ditch effort.
Chroma is flowing. Elements converge.
Bitter dregs.
I don't know if I can even heal myself. Yeah, no, I can. Oh my god, alright.
I've lived through worse.
I won't lose again.
Well, at least he's not attacking the whole team.
Born once more. Phantom stars. Getting spicy.
That was okay. Great though. But this should do. Well, we're getting there. Keep reviving, I guess.
Watch out, Minoko. A storm is coming.
Oh my god! Fuck.
Okay.
Look at these combos.
The elements dance. Let's finish this.
That's great.
Maximum damage.
burn built up. That's should proc for a lot. Oh, we can do elemental genesis. Holy shit.
Meet your reckoning.
Oh! Damn. 30% increased damage until a hit is received. Wow. It's the no-hit. The no-hit Picto. That was a sick way to end the fight.
All need masks.
This mask can't hurt me. Because it is me.
Okay? What happened?
Axon down. Let's bring this to the curator.
Damn, straight to business. The bench warmer.
Vice versa, wasn't it? Renoir.
Me? You want me to give it to you?
Why?
I saw...
What happened?
I saw... It was... Renoir?
I used to see him in my nightmares too. He can be, quite traumatizing.
God, we're all so damaged in this cutscene. Like, we should have cleaned up. Should have healed before we fucking started this cutscene. I mean, we weren't able to. There we go.
One down, one to go.
The next one will be harder.
Sure.
You're always so calm about everything.
Is that a question?
An observation. Lune's intense and obsessed. Mael is nervous and eager.
What's going on, Salad? I'm surprised you're still awake.
Why is that strange? I guess... Death and I? We've walked a long road together.
I guess that's true for me too.
Death is a friend who will welcome me home.
Friend's not the word I choose.
Life is easier when you think of death as a friend.
TWD, The Walking Dead?
Is it? Or are you just dressing it up to manage your fear?
I used to watch that show, but I don't know. I can't remember what season it was, like season 3 or 4. The show fucking pissed me off, so I stopped watching it. I was like, I feel like nothing is, like, they're not making progress.
Does it matter? How you view things is up to you. Life continues either way.
It's an interesting philosophy. For someone so young.
True. I'm not quite as old as you.
I really enjoyed the
Why
show
don't
at
you
first,
share some
though.
of the wisdom you've accumulated
You've watched the
over
entire
your
show
very
before,
long
gotcha.
life?
Oh, how kind of you to acknowledge my wisdom. Can you, mention my wisdom to Minoko sometime?
I think it was like the end of season 3, where I was like, this show, I don't like the direction this is going.
Oh, actually, isn't Minoko even older? Eskie too. Perhaps I should ask them instead.
No, please do. You'll probably learn valuable things about Nevron feet and rocks. All I can offer is another story.
I'm not really in the mood for stories tonight.
Oh, and here I had prepared something truly dark and heart-wrenching.
Save it for tomorrow. Let's do something else tonight.
What do you have in mind?
That depends. How adventurous are you feeling?
You mean like hunt Nevrons? What?
I'm waiting for you to connect the dots.
Oh, you mean, adventure.
You've been alone too long on this continent. When was the last time you seduced someone?
Not counting Minoko. I'll admit it's been a while.
So?
Do you even need to ask?
Became a bit more than friends. Sael feels inspired. Oh. Sael Doom. Doom, is that what we unlock? Deals very high single target dark damage, applies powerless, defenseless, and slow for 3 turns. Wow, and it can break. That's kind of insane. Actually. That seems quite good. I feel like Siles, her gradient attacks are pretty fucking nice. Like 10 hits, and also this one seems crazy. Probably does really good damage, and then it applies so many debuffs too.
You were
About?
the odds of killing axons. Close, but not 0.
Not 0. About?
The odds of killing.
Not 0.
Guess I can't spend time with her. Oh, maybe because I became more than friends with Sile? I don't know.
You have nightmares too. About Omar.
Yeah. He's hard to shake.
Yeah.
In Lumiere, did your parents choose your name?
Yeah, I guess. Why?
Mael means chief and prince. I guess princess.
What are you talking about?
The meaning behind your name.
Oh.
You said you were an unwelcome surprise, but I think even though your birth was unexpected, it was still celebrated. Your name shows how your parents felt about you. What kind of life they dreamed for you?
Chief. Guess they had bigger dreams for me than I ever did.
Why? What did you dream of?
I didn't.
You must have wanted something for the future.
No. All I wanted back then was to leave Lumiere and see some of the world before I gommaged.
Well, you've certainly done that. What do you dream of now?
I don't know. Still figuring that out. What about you, though? What do you want?
What do I want? I guess I'm still figuring that out too.
Well, what did you used to want?
Music.
Yeah?
Yeah. Before the fracture, I studied piano at the conservatory. I loved it. I really miss performing at the concert hall, when the lights dim and the room is hushed and the first notes echo through the chamber. I can just lose myself and feel the music through my fingers. Every time I play, it feels like my heart's about to break from the beauty of the notes.
That's lovely.
I miss that a lot.
Maybe when this is over, we can fix up the opera house and you can perform for us.
It would be my pleasure.
I want my first concert to be yours. And don't worry, I'll make sure the room is packed. I'll put up posters everywhere in town.
Oh, no pressure, huh? All right. I guess I'd better start practicing.
No. We're about to hit level 5 with Esquier. Oh. Phoenix Flame. Oh, it's a revive. Cool. That's interesting.
I recognize that look. What's got you so grumpy?
Those masks.
What about them? Are you jealous? Why?
I'm supposed to fly too.
Maybe stop losing your rocks then. How do you lose them anyway? Don't you swallow the rocks?
Sometimes I love too hard. I can't control myself and...
Okay, yeah, I see. It's, hard to control.
Those...
What about them?
Oh, I can't spend time with Esquier. God damn it!
Sometimes...
Okay.
This is bullshit.
You're right about these expeditioners. A most impressive group.
They've grown on you, haven't they?
Maybe.
They have. Minoko, let me cut your hair.
Why would I be foolish enough to do that?
Just a trim. You look like an overgrown mop.
I beg your pardon. Have you looked in the mirror lately?
Yes, my hair is impeccable. Stop being grumpy. Come on, let's give you some style.
You first, then.
Fine.
Actually, that does look nice. Okay, I'm in. Style away. Ooh, yes, indeed. This is quite fetching.
Great. We're twins.
Nice.
Seems you were right about the...
They've grown up.
Maybe.
They have.
Hey, Nong Man. What's up, buddy? I do not have any more. I really like this Confuso weapon. It's, I don't know, the burn, like if you get it to level 20, I don't know, I feel like it's insane how much your burn is gonna do incredible amounts of damage. I guess you need to get up to rank S, but yeah. You know what, I wonder, do I have... Do I have burning crit? What is it called? Critical burn? Oh, I do. Okay. Do I have that on everybody? I do. Yeah, because you get 25% crit on burning enemies, so I feel like the burn is just it's so strong because of that.
Do you mind if I play here?
An awesome choice, stranger.
Send for cost. Thank you for the 34 months. Hope I said that right, but thank you, thank you. Yeah, I could use some new sub sounds. Or like, well, there's more to add to the collection. Oh, look at SKA go. He's jamming.
What song was that? I feel like I know it.
Yes, an old song I used to play to my sister.
Can you play another?
Sure. We have all night.
ready?
I am ready. I will need a bit of space. All right. Esky, you ready?
That was a nice little cutscene. Oh, we got the music too. Trying to jam, but it's kind of awkward. All right, time for bed. Alright, what was
Swimsuit on!
what was over here?
Fastest go!
Wait, am I going? Shit, this is where I want to go. Oops.
That's the swimmer! That's the swimmer!
Hello. Rebellious half ponytail? How are these things? This is where we need to go for the story? Yeah.
Let us get wet.
Is this the pathway that I saw before? There's a Gestrel beach there. I don't... Have we been there, though? Oh my god, there's another Gestrel beach here. Damn. Need to fly for this one? Why'd you have to sit? Huh? Race. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what the guy's talking about flying. So, if you're spoiling something, please shut the fuck up. But maybe you're not. We'll throw you the island over there. When you finish the race, come back here. Oh, we were so close. We didn't get the gold. We were like fucking 0.1 seconds off. I guess you wanna take the right path, but that's okay, we still got it. The right path has less climbing. Nice. There's a back entrance here? Wait, what's over here? It's like a cave or something?
Well, that will help.
That's the beach, right? There's balloons here.
Time for swim.
Time for swim. Another underwater spot. Oh, can I actually not get up here? Oh no, I can't. Never mind.
Incoming!
My, what lovely feet.
Elements, converge!
Not quite.
Here we go.
Brace yourselves.
A bit of violence, yes.
Nice. Oops. Missed.
Luna, careful.
This guy's pretty tanky, man.
A storm is coming.
Ooh, level 14 confident. Nice. Troubadour upgrade. Sinister Cave. Wasn't sure if this was going to be a loot. What the? Mm-hmm. So if a target is burning, we're at 80% crit, which is pretty good. I mean, honestly, the auto death perk or whatever is probably pretty good for glass can. Wait, how much lumina does glass cannon take? 10? Hmm. Do we have a crit rate? Yeah, so auto death is the highest. Confident fighter, right? Increased damage but can't be healed. There's also, yeah, I guess confident fighter. That's so much crit. I could swap that, I guess. Also, powered attack. Probably put on something else, too. There you go. I guess we're over crit cap if the target's burning now. Yeah, we don't have that much health though. We're gonna die really easily. I mean, energizing pain could be decent. Which is the one that gives break damage on critical hits? Critical break? Man, this menu is definitely it's getting a little overwhelming. It's definitely getting a little overwhelming. Man, this skill though is crazy because it's extreme damage to all enemies. All enemies, 8 hits. And I mean now, like, I feel like I can just eliminate anything because, I mean, with this build, with what I have now, I'm at 100% crit rate. If I open with Gustav, I basically get a guaranteed burn, or Gustav, sorry, Verso. If I open with Verso, I get 100% crit, and then my elemental trick gives me like 2 turns and I can basically just destroy everything. I think I might call it a night here though, guys. I know it hasn't been a super long stream, but I started my stream really late and it's already like 8 p.m. so, and it's a good stopping point. We took down one of the axons. We'll do call it at 4 hours. Yeah, well, I started my stream pretty late, buddy, so. Anyways, I'm gonna go get some rest and get some food, guys, but thank you all for watching. Appreciate you all being here for Expedition 33. Yeah, we will continue tomorrow. And we'll take down the other axon.